Hello and welcome to today's episode of Nadee's Book Nook, where we continue to explore the social biases and the human cost of it through Labyrinth of Dreams. Labyrinth of Dreams, a novel written based on true events, true stories, and I am your host, Nadee Fernando O'Driscoll. And in today's episode, we are diving into another controversial and a sensitive topic: the stigma surrounding pregnancies or motherhood of unwed women and the traditional family structure. So let's begin with exploring the story of Helen, a character, the main character in Labyrinth of Dreams. Now imagine Helen, a young woman in her 20s, 9 months pregnant, and she's living in a society that condemns her very existence. So now she finds herself hiding in a cold, dingy room, fearing the judgment that could come not just for her, but for her unborn child. And she was living in the 1970s in Sri Lanka. And she was married to a man who clearly doesn't love her or want the child. Now, this was a time when a woman's choices were virtually non existent, and the stigma around being an unwed mother was suffocating. Not just in Sri Lanka, but that was the case in many parts of the world. In fact, all over the world. You hear about maternity homes in the US or in Canada in the 50s, 60s, or 70s, or Magdalene laundries in Ireland. They were all places that symbolize the suffering of women. They all symbolize the cruel, harsh judgment that the society passed on women and plight of women living in that era. Now, fast forward to today. While many women like me, I live in Canada, and many women who live in North America or in Europe, we enjoy the freedom to choose motherhood outside of marriage. And that's such a wonderful thing that we have made great strides in this direction. Yet, we need to recognize that this is not the case globally. There are still many parts of the world that women do not have the right to be a mother, that women do not have the right to motherhood unless within a marriage. While women's rights have made significant strides, but there are still many regions in the world where it is not the case. So for an example, we take South Asia, where Labyrinth of Dreams unfold, or the Middle East, or parts of the African continent, or even in parts of the East Asia. Traditional beliefs still dictates a woman's autonomy over her body and her choices. So now let's explore the concept of this ideal family. In societies that women are still judged for being pregnant outside of marriage, they are the same societies that still uphold the traditional concept of what an ideal family is. So now let's explore that concept, the concept of ideal family. Now, proponents of traditional family values may argue that the nuclear family consisting of a mother, father, and their biological children, that it is the best scenario. But is that truly the ideal? Consider this. There are countless instances of abusive parents. There are many examples of parents struggling with addiction, or those failing to provide basic necessities to their children within those traditional structures. On the other hand, we do see many single parents, same-sex couples, and non-traditional families raising compassionate, successful individuals. So I think it is time we question the historical narrative that equates family structure with parenting quality. An ideal parent is not defined by their marital status or biological ties, but rather by their ability to nurture, love, and raise children to become decent, contributing members of the society. Traditions, they have their values, no doubt, but it's not a carte blanche. Wherever those traditions contribute to suffering of another human being, they need to be scrutinized. For those who say that historical values and traditions has to be preserved at all cost, well, history has shown us again and again that many accepted traditions have perpetuated suffering. For an example, take racial discrimination, abuse. They were all accepted at one point in the history. But as societies, we have the capacity to evolve. And the wonderful thing about being human beings is that we have the possibility, we possess the ability to discern right from wrong. So, why do we then hold on to traditions that can harm individuals? Why do we hold on to traditions that perpetuate suffering? So, for those who champion traditional family values, I urge you to reflect on the implications of those beliefs. Are we upholding values that contribute to suffering of others? Is denying a woman's right to choose or stigmatizing an adopted child a true value? So, as we conclude today's episode, I leave you with these thoughts. The concept of family, it is evolving. And it is essential to embrace diverse structures that prioritize love and support over traditional norms. So, thank you for joining me on this journey of reflection and discovery. Until next time, keep questioning, keep discussing, and keep advocating for a world where everyone has the right to choose their path.